Hello, everyone. Good morning. Hope you are supremely blessed. This morning, I want to welcome you again to the Kingdom Talk with Pastor O. It's my daily program where we share ideas and we talk about the kingdom, right? Not Christianity, not religion, but about the kingdom of God, the kingdom of heaven on earth. Today, we are going to be continuing with the series that we started yesterday on why are we here. In part one yesterday, we talked about how God created everybody for a specific purpose, and then we backed it up with several verses to show that God did not do anything by accident; that everything He did was always for a purpose. And we give some specific examples from the scripture directly, just so that those of you might say this is philosophy thing. No, we don't do philosophy here. We are bound by the Bible, which is the constitution for the kingdom people. Our own constitution that we rely on is the Bible, and that is where we get all our references, all our thinking, all our verses, everything from. If you have issues with the Bible, take it up with my headquarters in heaven. I got no problem with you. My job is not to come and try to justify the Bible to you. I'm telling you, that's my constitution. This is Kingdom Talk with Dr. Okwebanwo, popularly referred to as Pastor O. So we talk about why our man needs to understand his assignment before he can even begin to fulfill it. And yesterday also we talk about why it's important for all of us to understand our kingdom assignment. If you missed yesterday's broadcast, you want to go back and watch it on our Facebook page. You want to also go to YouTube and you want to watch it on the YouTube of the Cyber Embassy of Christ. We have a Facebook page, we have a Facebook group, and we also have a YouTube page as well as other social media platforms. You can watch part one of the Kingdom Talk on Why Am I Here? We talk about why it is important for you to understand your assignment. It will reduce your frustration. It will increase your motivation. It will increase your concentration. It will be the basis for God's evaluation of yourself. When you are done with your assignment here, we established all of that yesterday. In case you missed it, you want to quickly go back and make sure you watch that part one. Have knowledge is a dangerous thing. If you don't understand where we're coming from, you'll be missing out on a lot of stuff. So we ended yesterday by saying God made it clear from the beginning that the purpose for which He created us. And He stated that in Genesis chapter 1, verse 28. He told us, only the creator of a thing can tell you what that thing was created for. You cannot sit down and start thinking, why am I here? Why was I created? You cannot design or you cannot think out your purpose. It is the person that created something that can tell it the purpose, that can tell others the purpose of that thing. If the person that created this phone is the only one that can really tell us the purpose for which he created the phone. And if we don't know the purpose, obviously abuse is inevitable. We talked about that. If you don't know the purpose of a thing, abuse is inevitable. And if you don't know why God created you, why you were here on this earth, it is very possible, almost inevitable, that you will abuse your own creation itself. You abuse your purpose right here on earth, because every one of us was created for a specific purpose. We are going to be talking later on in this series about how you can discover the purpose for which you are created, because every one of us is unique. There's a reason why we don't have the same fingerprint. There are no two fingerprints that are the same all over the world, even for twins. So everybody is unique in their creation, which means your assignment is unique to you. No two people have the same assignment. Every one of us has been created specifically for a specific assignment. That is why everything God gave us is unique from the other person. We talk about all of that. We talk about why it is important to be obsessed with your assignment. And then yesterday we started discussing about some important keys for developing obsession with your assignment. We talk about how to avoid conversations that do not relate to your assignment. We talk about how to refuse any weight or distraction that might take you away from your assignment. Again, I'm just recapping the first 15 minutes. I try to recap what we did yesterday, just in case you are not following us. You have to constantly study your assignment in order for you to remain committed to it. Okay, you have to keep studying. You have to keep improving. We talk about how you need to ruthlessly sever any ties or relationship that does not fit your assignment. That's how you can go ahead and fulfill it. Okay, you cannot go ahead and so we talk about what Paul said. But one thing I do, forgetting what is behind me and straining toward what is ahead, I press on towards the goal to win the prize for which God has created me or called me heavenward. In Jesus' name, he talk about keeping 100% focus, all right, on your assignment if you really want to be in a position to fulfill it, because you will be evaluated based on your assignment. All of that was discussed at length yesterday. So the second principle, okay, we were talking about principles that have to do with your assignment. We talked about the first principle yesterday, for that you must understand, even as you're trying to figure out what your assignment on earth is. I'll put that up again. Principle number one that we discussed yesterday: you will only succeed when your assignment becomes an obsession. And we went through all of that about how to become obsessed with your assignment, so that way you can be in a position to fully fulfill it. So today we want to move forward with this presentation by talking about other principles that relate to your assignment. And then hopefully before we finish this week, we will discuss extensively how you can actually discover your own assignment right here on earth. But for today, we are talking about principles that relate to your assignment. Again, if you missed yesterday's teaching, you want to go look for it on our YouTube channel and search for the Cyber Embassy. You will see our YouTube channel. The video is there. It's on our Facebook page, the Cyber Embassy on Facebook. It's on our Facebook group, which is where all our members gathered for discussion and all that. You also see it there. So principle number two, your assignment may cost you everything. You need to understand this going in. Because when people do not understand this, that is when they get discouraged or they leave the assignment midway. Jesus taught his followers that the assignment will cost them practically everything that they have. So Jesus did not mince words when he was talking to his disciples. That is why when you want to give, for people who give their life to Christ without fully understanding why they are doing it, that is why they don't fulfill the assignment God has sent them here. And the assignment is not just for you to go and share the Bible with somebody. Please, that's not where I'm going. When we get to that point, you will understand why you were here. Sharing the Bible, sharing the kingdom with others is part of it, but you have a specific assignment. There's a reason you are born in Nairobi, Kenya. There's a reason you have the temperament that you have. There's a reason you are born into that family that you are born into. Nothing is by accident. And we are going to go through the exercise at some point on how you will be able to discover the assignment that you are sent in here. Right now, we are talking about some principles of that assignment. I see several of you already are joining us live right now. I see Douglas Bundy from Kenya live with us. And then I see Eric Phillip from Port Harcourt with us. All right, you are all welcome. The rest of you that are on this broadcast, I want to welcome you in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, and hope that today you will be extremely blessed. Father, as they join us all over the world, Father, you begin to minister to them yourself. I'm going to model along the best way I can, but only you are the teacher. Only you can teach them your ways. Only you can teach them your wisdom. So as I speak, Father, translate everything I said in their ears so that they can hear you directly. You are all welcome, and you have joined me live at the Kingdom Talk with Pastor O, the daily program where we discuss everything concerning the kingdom. Principle number two of your kingdom assignment is that it may cost you everything. Jesus taught that very clearly. He did not mince words. He did not try to deceive you into becoming a Christian and then you don't know what this is all about. Jesus said to his disciples, if anyone will come after me, he must deny himself and must take up his cross and follow me. For whoever wants to save his life will lose it. Whoever loses his life for me will find it. It was clear. When you start figuring out what your own assignment here on earth is, you need to understand you will have to deny everything else and take up your cross. Your cross is your assignment. Your cross is what you have to do for Christ while you're here. Your cross are stuff that you have to deal with. Okay, your cross is your assignment. You're going to have to carry it, and you have to track Jesus down. You have to follow Jesus with it, or you will not be able to fulfill it. Jesus never missed what's about his own assignment. It's going to cost him. The same way yours is going to cost you. The assignment of Moses cost him practically everything. Moses was a guy born into a lot of yes, he was born while there was this siege against the Israelites, but his father and his sister, they threw him in the River Nile. We all know the story. He ended up being found by the son of the Pharaoh, and the next thing you know, he grew up in Pharaoh's compound. He grew up with privilege. He grew up practically as a son of the Pharaoh. He grew up being groomed to actually be a leader of Egypt. But when he finally came into contact with his assignment, when he finally discovered his assignment, the assignment ended up costing him everything. We all know this story. When he finally figured out that he has been sent to actually deliver the people of Israel, even though he didn't know how to do it initially, he killed somebody. He didn't go for training. He didn't do all that stuff that he had to do in the desert for 40 years later. Okay, but he was right there. When he saw his people being oppressed, he felt it was his duty to defend them, and he killed somebody. And before you know it, he got into trouble and he had to run. He basically had to abandon Pharaoh's court, all those opulence, all those future that was laid out for him of privilege. He had to abandon all of that, and he took cover in the wilderness for 40 years, like a common herdsman. That's what the assignment called by faith. Look at what Hebrews said about it. Hebrews 11:24. It said, by faith, Moses, when he had grown up, refused to be known as the son of Pharaoh's daughter. He chose to be treated along with the people of God, rather mistreated along with the people of God, rather than enjoy the pleasures of sin for a short time. He regarded it as a disgrace for him to be enjoying in the palace while his people are out there suffering. It cost him everything. Hebrews, you need to go back to that Hebrew passage and read it thoroughly. He regarded it a disgrace for the sake of Christ as of greater value than the treasures of Egypt. That's what Hebrews told us. So he knew, and he embraced it the minute he discovered his assignment. He knew, and he gave up everything for it. And not just him. There's so many of them in the Bible that it cost them everything. Even Abraham, the assignment of Abraham cost him bitterly. Hebrews also recorded that for us. Hebrews 11:8-9. By faith, Abraham, when called, God called him. When he finally got his assignment, he had no clue, but God told him to leave everything that he had, everything, and told him to go into the wilderness. Can you believe that? Told him to leave and go out there and go and start excuse me for a second. So God told him to go out. By faith, Abraham, when called to go to a place he would later receive as his inheritance, obeyed and went, even though he did not know where he was going. By faith, he made his home in the promised land, and like a stranger in the promised land, like a stranger in a foreign country. Basically, Abraham was doing his thing. He was doing great. Then God came and gave him an assignment. So you got to go. Leave everybody. Don't take anybody with you. Leave everything, and you will go to a land that I will show you. He didn't even give him an address. He said, just go to a land that I will show you as you are going. That was a tough assignment. But when he got it cost him everything. He had to leave everything, leave all his opulence behind, and he went. In fact, he made a mistake while he was going. He took Lot with him. God had told him, don't take anybody. But he took his brother Lot. And we all knew the problem he ran into with Lot later in the game. Paul was another person that eventually figured out his assignment. Paul was a man that was on fire for God the wrong way. He thought he knew, based on his training with Gamaliel, that, okay, all these Jews were heretics. They are people that are against the teachings of the Torah. And he was going out there to go kill all of them. He was an expert. He would take them down. Eventually, he got a letter, okay, to round up all Christians and deal with them. But on the way, God met him on the way to Damascus. Every one of us have our own Damascus experience if we are going in the wrong direction. Because remember, if you are executing the wrong assignment, that is what you are going to be judged by when you die. Remember, we said that yesterday. So it's in your own interest to have your own Damascus experience. If right now you are on the wrong path in your life, you are going in the wrong direction for your assignment. So you want to pray this morning that the Lord himself will have mercy, will give you the grace to have your own Damascus experience, just like Paul. Damascus experience is not pleasant. Someday we'll probably talk about that. He is a man that was living large, enjoying great things. And then on his way to Damascus, he was just shot down from his horse by an angel. When the horse saw an angel with a flaming sword, the sword just put on the brake. The horse just put on the brake, and it fell down, and then got blinded. By the time he had been blinded for a few days, he now asked, "What next, Lord?" Finally, the scale fell from his eyes. He saw his vision of where he needs to be, what he needs to be doing for God, and he made a 360 U-turn. But then that U-turn cost him everything. I mean, it cost him his status. This is a guy that has a dual status, just like me right now. I'm an American citizen and also a Nigerian citizen. Paul was a Jew who happened to have Roman citizenship. So he's got double citizenship. He lived a privileged life. He was a lawyer who has been trained by some of the best in the game. Okay, who has been the best in the game, and then he had to leave everything when he had that Damascus Express. It cost him everything he had. He himself documented it for us to read about some of the pain he had to go through. It cost him his status. Because when people were challenging him, talking about who is he even, he had to tell them story. Philippians chapter 3, verses 5 to 7, in his letter to the church at Philippia. He said, "I was circumcised on the 8th day of the people of Israel, establishing his Jewish identity, of the tribe of Benjamin, a Hebrew of Hebrews. In regard to the law, I'm a Pharisee. As for zeal, persecuting the church, as for legalistic righteousness, I was faultless." But he told them that all of that he had to abandon when action time came. But what things were gained to me, those I counted a loss for Christ. In other words, everything that he had, he decided they were not worth it when compared to the assignment that he was given. His assignment cost him physically. Not only did he lose his status, he also lost a lot in the physical, because he was beaten, he was stoned. I mean, a lot of stuff happened to this guy, and he documented it for us just in case some of us don't remember some of those guys who are challenging him. He gave them in 2 Corinthians chapter 11. He went and enumerated all some of those stuff that happened to him. And it's a good read. You need to read that verse. 2 Corinthians 11, verses 23 to 29 is what I want you to read. Read all those 8 verses, 23 to 29. He said, "I work much harder. I've been in prison more frequently. I've been flogged more severely. I've been exposed to death again and again. 5 times I was beaten with rods. I was stoned 3 times. I was shipwrecked. I've been in danger in the country, in danger at sea, and in danger from false brothers. I've been cold and I've been naked." He started enumerating all the stuff that he had to suffer for the sake of his assignment. So your assignment may cost you not just your status, it will also cost you physically, it will cost you financially. But guess what? All kingdom people will pay a price for their assignment. There is no exception to the rule. So if you are not ready to be a kingdom citizen, if you are not ready to pay the price, then maybe you want to reconsider your stand. And that's why I always say that many people who raise up their hand in church, and who say, oh, I give my life to Christ, they have no clue what they are actually saying, what they are doing. Somebody preach a sermon for 55 minutes. Then the last 5 minutes, he say, if you are here and you want to give your life to Christ, raise up your hand. And some people raise up their hand and say, come forward. And then it leads them to Christ. But the first 50 sermons he didn't have anything to do with how to give your life to Christ. It was probably a sermon on something totally different. Maybe a sermon on that is totally unrelated to the salvation message. Maybe a discipleship message. Maybe a worship message. And then at the end of it, he say, okay, if you are here ready to give your life to Christ, and people raise up their hand, and sometimes I just like look at them that, what are you doing? Most of them, when they come out, they don't even know what they are giving their life to. And that is why we're having this kingdom talk, for you to understand that the kingdom, if you are going to fulfill your kingdom assignment, there is a cost to it. That's the principle we are discussing extensively today. All right, yes, and like Philip said, there's always a price to pay for every crown. You bet there is a price to pay. For every elevation, there is a price to pay. And of course, we all want to pray that God will give us the grace to not just fulfill our assignment on earth, but to also be able to identify it properly and then to fulfill it. We're going to come to how to actually identify your assignment, because that is probably one of the most important exercises you can do for yourself. Thank you so much for that, Eric Philip. I always love getting feedback from people as we do this. This is supposed to be Kingdom Talk, all right? I don't just want to be out there talking down on you. I want to hear you also talk back to me. That's the beauty we have with the internet, and that's why I'm so excited that God has sent some of us to the internet to go and share the kingdom message, because we can have a dialogue even in the middle of a sermon. You cannot do that in your physical church. You can't raise up your hand while your pastor is preaching and say you have a question. The ushers will probably lead you out, because they'll consider you very rude. They'll consider you somebody that is being influenced by the evil spirit. And yet, while we are talking, while we're preaching, people have ideas or people have questions. Maybe you said something that is not really clear to them, or that they have their thoughts as they're following you. They want some clarity as they are going. But there is no avenue for them to be able to share that. The internet eliminates all of that. Because as we are sharing right now, you can share your own thoughts. You can ask questions. You can then give opportunity for me to elaborate on something that I just said casually. Because sometimes I say something and that provoke a big thinking on your part, and you probably need me to stop a minute and elaborate. With the internet, you can do that. So if you are watching this, please feel free to put your comments on there. I don't want this to just be a talk down on me teaching thing every day when we meet together on this. We want it to be a discussion. It's Kingdom Talk. All right. We see Ogushola, Pastor Yitai Ogushola. Thank you for chipping in. He said, we need God's help. Yes, we do. Because the devil does not want us to actually get our proper assignment. The devil is happy for you to be a billionaire, chasing after the wrong assignment, because he knew that on the day you die, you will be evaluated based on how well you executed the assignment for which you were sent. There's a reason you are born in Yoruba land. There's a reason why you have the temperament you have. There's a reason why you have all the experiences you have. There's a reason why you have the abilities that you have. There's a reason why the spiritual gifts you have is different from that of the other guy. It is all to guide you, to help you in your core assignment in the kingdom. And if you never did that exercise to be able to figure it out, the devil is happy to give you an assignment, and he will even make you very successful there. And then, because he knows at the end of the day, that is what you are going to be evaluated on. I shared this yesterday. Being successful at something does not necessarily mean you are doing the assignment that God sent you. And I use a very, what I call a crude approximation. That if, for instance, now if I were to send my son or my daughter and I say, go wash my car, that is the assignment I gave him or her. But he takes the car, goes out there and changes the seat. Maybe the seats of the car are old. He changes it. He changes the tire. But he didn't wash the car. And then he brings the car back home. No matter how well, he has done other things that I sent him. I cannot grade him or her a pass mark for washing the car because that was the assignment and he didn't do it. Same way, if you have been sent, for instance, to go and be an apostle in the marketplace in the area of real estate, but you are busy doing prayer vigil all night, all day. You didn't go out there to go minister or to go bring God's influence to bear in real estate. On the day you die, God is not going to say, oh, you pray for the whole world every day for the rest of your life, so take a pass mark. You will be evaluated based on your assignment. And we make a lot of that mistake in the church. When somebody shows an interest in doing God's work, for instance, the first thing most pastors are thinking is, how would they make this person a pastor? How would they make him to go start a church? Maybe that is not his calling. Maybe his calling is to go into his own profession and bring God's principles to bear on the way he executes his assignment so that he can influence other people around him for the kingdom, so that he can change the way things are being done. Maybe he was born as a politician to go into politics and bring God's principles to bear into governance so that he can influence the area of governance for good. If he didn't do that, no matter what he did, no matter how successful he was, on the day he finally gives up the ghost and he stands before his maker, they're going to ask him. And like I shared with you yesterday and shared the Bible verses with you, the very first judgment is of believers. And that judgment is not so much about whether you accepted Christ or not, you already did. The judgment is going to be, what did you do with the foundation of Christ that you had? I gave you 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verses 9 to 15, and I said, go read that. And now I'm talking to those who call themselves Christians now, those who believe they have the foundation of Christ. The foundation of Christ is not an end in itself. Being born again is not an end in itself. It's a means to an end. So on that day of judgment, you will be judged based on what you built on the foundation of Christ that you got. If what you build is made of gold and in other words, it is in consonant with all the resources God has given you, all the temperament he has given you, all the abilities he's given you, then you get your rewards. But if what you build is of A, which means is irrelevant, means is not of value based on the God's expectation of you, it will be burnt up. But it says you yourself will be saved, but like somebody who escaped through the fire. That's the judgment of believers right there. You don't want to get to heaven like somebody who escaped through the fire. I said yesterday, and some of you are laughing. That means then try to picture in your mind somebody that's a raging fire and everything is burnt up concerning his inheritance, and only him just managed to escape with the skin of his teeth because all his clothes on his body is even burnt, like somebody who escaped through the fire. Imagine what that person looks like. The equivalent of that, I don't know what it's going to look like in heaven, but I do know somebody who made it, like somebody who escaped through the fire, cannot be enjoying the same privileges as somebody who escaped with plenty presents for having built with gold. That is only commonsensical. Even though we don't know what heaven looks like, I haven't been there. I hear lots of tales. I hear people tell me they visited it. I say, okay, I hear you. But we don't know of anybody who's actually gone there, lived there to come back other than Jesus to tell us what it looks like. But my point is, you will be evaluated based on how well you did your assignment. Because the truth is, all kingdom people will pay a high cost for their assignment. That's the discussion we were having today on principle number 2. Now, Philip asked, how do we discover our true assignments with the pressures to make it by all means? Maybe I should take a detour and talk about that a little bit today, because that is a very relevant question. Somebody asked that yesterday. We are going to have a full-blown discussion as far as that is concerned, but I'm just going to give you a summarized version of that today. Okay, one of the ways, you see, your assignment is not something that you say you want to go and come up with. It's something you discover. It's already been set when you were created, because you didn't create yourself. The person who created you knew why he created you. So it is something you discover. It is not something you go and think and come up with something that you think you want to do. It has to be something that the person who created you put you here on earth to do. That is why I call it Discovering Your Kingdom Assignment. It's a whole new series on its own. But one of the things you want to quickly think about, because I hear you, if you everybody's in a hurry to try to discover the assignment. Maybe I'm going to come up with that soon. There's something, one of the best places to start is what I call the shape. I will take that up tomorrow and discuss it extensively. Okay. Your shape is a what I call a total summary. Let me pull up something and show you. Maybe I can show you something that can help you with that today, because this is very important for you to understand what your shape, what your assignment is, because without understanding it, so we want to use the acronym called SHAPE to help you discover that. I'm going to put it up on the screen. I'm trying to type it in there so that everybody can see it. Your SHAPE, SHAPE. It starts with your shape, and I want to, so excuse me, I'm trying to copy something and paste here, but it's not going. I don't know, because I did it. This was not planned for today. This is something that I just wanted to use to answer the question somebody just asked. To discover your assignment, you have to think about something that I call shape. All right, shape is, the S stands for spiritual gifts, H for heart, okay, and then A for abilities, P for personalities, and E for experiences. Every one of us, we have this, okay, spiritual gifts. And then I'll break it down in a separate presentation, series of them. Actually, we have that. I have that somewhere that I want to. First, we're talking about why are you here. Now, several of you have asked, okay, how do I discover why I'm here? This is one of the exercises that I think is important for you to do. You have spiritual gifts. You look at your spiritual gifts. Your heart, that stands for H. Your abilities, that stands for A. P stands for personality, and E for experiences. These are all the things that work together to help you discover why you are here on earth. For instance, your spiritual gifts. The spiritual gifts all of us have are not the same. All of us have different spiritual gifts. Some of us were given a gift of discernment. Some of us were given gift of prayer. Some of us were given all sorts of gifts. I don't want to go deep into that training because the whole comprehensive gift is a comprehensive training on that. But there, from the little we've been able to gather together, there are about 19 gifts of the Spirit. And you need to figure out which one of those you have. You're going to do some exercises that we will uncover for you as we go. But you can go check out some books right now to help you with that. Okay, there's a book by Peter Wagner. Okay, your spiritual gifts can help you grow. It's a book by Peter C. Wagner. And then there's another book called 19 Gifts of the Spirit by Leslie Flynn. You want to check it out to be able to figure out what are the spiritual gifts that you do have. You have to check yourself. It's called a self-assessment. And sometimes to get your spiritual tips to give together, you might have to do trial and error by experimenting with different areas of service to be able to figure out which one works the best for you. So you train yourself to be able to harness your spiritual gifts through an ongoing ministry, short-term projects, spontaneous situations, and all of that. That's how you unwrap your spiritual gifts. Then your H stands for your heart. That is, the heart is really the organ that pumps your blood, your emotional constitution and disposition, the vital force or the driving force that moves you. So your heart determines why you say the things you do. Out of the abundance of the heart, right? The mouth speaketh. The heart determines why you feel the way you do. The heart determines why you act the way you do. So your heart really is the real you when it comes to feeling, to saying stuff, to acting. So you have to ask yourself, why has God given you such a heart for this stuff? Because you have a unique heartbeat. The way you respond to stuff is unique. So you will you will identify your kingdom assignment and start your purpose on earth by letting your heartbeat motivate you in whatever it is you choose to do. I actually have a book coming out now called Kingdompreneur Genesis. I also discussed this there. Before you even pick a business, you have to look at your shape, because your business is supposed to tally with whatever assignment God has sent you. So look at me now. I am preaching the word online as a pastor. I'm starting an internet church, and I'm realizing that my internet business skills, I need to start using a lot of it to pursue this kingdom assignment that I have. So instead of just releasing products out there to sell and make money, now I'm thinking about products that can help in propagating God's word, in propagating the kingdom. I mean, I have a mobile app builder. Why can't I create a version of that will help people to create mobile apps to reach out with their churches, with their ministries, and influence the world? Why can't I have a software that will help people to design a stuff that will help the church? Because that's my heart right now. So you let your heart motivate you in the things that you do. So whatever you love is a clue to your assignment. Then abilities. What are the special abilities God has given you? Because 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 6 says there are different abilities to perform. God gave every one of us different skills, different abilities. So and some of the abilities are some of them you are gonna learn as you go. Some of us, it's easy for us to learn math. Some of us, it's easy to learn history. Some of us, it's easy to learn stuff. The things that come easy for you to learn are clues to the kind of things God wants you to have. Every one of us has got more than one abilities. You're going to have to do an audit. There is an exercise to do for that. Like I said, this is a very extended training on its own, but I'm going into it a bit now because somebody asked this yesterday and somebody's asking it again today. Now go to the P, your personality. That's a reason why you are who you are. That's a reason why you have the personality you have. They have people they call extroverts. There's the introverts. There are those who are very comfortable with doing routine and stuff. There are those who would die if they have to do routine stuff. They must have variety. There are those who are self-controlled. There are those who are self-expressive. There are those who are cooperative. There are those who are competitive. Different personalities. You didn't give yourself that. Most of us, who were born, those things were latent in you, even if you went through education to develop it. So your personality is also a clue to your assignment. Finally, again, remember, I'm just giving you a shorthand version here. This is not even a one-day training on how to discover your assignment. This is a comprehensive series on its own. And then the last part of your shape is your experiences. After all, we are told in Romans 8:28, and that we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. Again, Philippians chapter 1, verse 12, Paul was writing. He said, now I, Paul, want you to know, brothers, that what has happened to me has really served to advance the gospel. In other words, whatever happened to him, his experiences help him to advance his assignment. So you need to ask yourself, what are the kind of experiences you have had? What spiritual experiences have you had? What painful physical experiences have you had? What educational experiences have you had? What work experiences have you had? What ministry experiences have you had? All of those are to be used in discerning the kind of assignment God has in stock for you. I just gave you a quick summary right there of your shape. Your shape is a big indicator. Same way, basically, you've been created, you were born, and now all of a sudden, every tool that you need to fulfill the assignment God has sent you is right in you. It is for you to do that special prayer, that special training for yourself to understand your shape fully, not what you want to be, but what you are. What kind of spiritual gifts you have. Problem is, many of us abandon our own spiritual gifts. We start chasing the one that we think we like. A pastor that has been gifted with the ability to interpret the word and bring people along into the kingdom is busy praying for the gift of miracle. See the problem here? He's not using the gift that he has, he's converting the gifts of somebody else. Meanwhile, they've been given different assignments. The person is going out there doing all those stuff. He has his own assignment. Our heart the same way. Like I shared with somebody, when I hear about a baby that is abandoned or a motherless baby, I don't feel my heart tug to go participate, to go help out, to give money or to help that baby, because I am not a baby person like that. But when I see somebody who's ignorant, but who is willing to learn, I can give my eye to that person, to teach them, to show them how they can go learn whatever it is they want to learn, even if it's not something I know. Because I have a heart for people coming to their purpose. There are people who don't get mind, who don't have any heart feeling when they see something messy. There are some people who cannot walk past even an unmade bed. All those things, all those parts of your shape are clues to the kind of assignment you are supposed to be doing on here. And when I say assignment, I'm not just talking about Christian work. I'm talking about your totality. Everything you do is supposed to be used to influence this world for the kingdom of God. And once you figure it out, whether you're a lawyer, whether you're in real estate, you will know whether you should even be in law to start with. It's your shape suited for that. And when you are in law and you understand and you are reconciled with Jesus, now all your ethics, everything you do in your profession will advance the kingdom of God in that profession. You understand what I'm saying now? I'm not trying to say everybody should go preach the word of God. Everybody should go be a pastor. I say this all the time. I don't think my calling is to be a pastor. I'm an instigator. I'm an activator. And that's what I'm doing. I keep telling everybody at the Cyber Embassy of Christ that when we are fully rolling, this has to be handed off to somebody who is a pastor, who has a heart to be a pastor. My job is to make things happen. And once Cyber Embassy is established, I got to go. As many things as I can start for God. That is my own calling. And I embrace it with a passion that doesn't develop to go into argument with anybody. People say, oh, you do only stuff for only 1 year. You do for only 2 years, as if that is a curse. If that is your call, that is your call. Go start as many as you can. Why can't I help 1 million pastors to start their own churches? Why can't I help 1 million Christians to start businesses? It's what I do. It's what I know how to do. That's what I want to pursue. I don't want to sit down here, stay with one church and be preaching and doing the same thing over and over again for the next 20 years of my life. That is not my own assignment. I've done my own shape, an examination of my shape, and I'm very clear about that. You need to do the same thing. You need to examine yourself. What is my shape? What is my kingdom assignment? And then you ruthlessly pursue it. Because people will try to derail you. People will try to tell you what you should be doing. People will try to tell you why you should stay somewhere if that's not your call. People will try to tell you why you should move if your call is to stay. People who think they know you better than your creator will try to tell you what is best for you. But you have to be in tune with your creator to be able to discover what is it he wants you to be doing. So that from there, you can actually do an assignment that will be pleasing to him, so that you don't go on a frolic of your own. In law, that's what we call it. So tomorrow we talk about the top principle that you're fulfilling your assignment will require planning. I'm not going to go into that because our time has run out today. I want to keep this all within the hour, because this is the Kingdom Talk Hour. It's a 1 hour program every day from 11 to noon New York time. That is from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. London time and Lagos time. I want to appreciate you all for joining me today. We are basically running out. Let me hear from you if you're out there. I want to hear your comments on today's presentation. Whatever you love is a clue to your assignment. Eric Philip, you are 100% correct. Yes, Netvangelism 360 project is where I am going very hard this year. I know you haven't been see what I'm doing because I've not heard from you. I'm not going to do the work for you. If you are called into this, you also need to be coming up with ideas now. But I'm very bullish on this. I'm going to be coming up with different programs. For instance, part of it is I want to be helping pastors to be able to publish their books so that they can earn income outside of just waiting on offering, tithe and offering. Every Sunday, every pastor out there, they preach. A 1 hour sermon is a book by itself. Or if you do a series of 4 Sundays, that's a book by itself. But many of them have no clue how to turn this to a book, or how to launch a book, or how to make money with a book. For me, since I have gone to learn this last 7 years, like David said, I have been able to defeat the bear and the lion. God was preparing him to go and come and fight the real Goliath. I have been in internet marketing for 7 years now. I've made a lot of money. I've made a lot of progress. I've trained lots of people. Now I believe God is calling me to use those skills to help the kingdom to spread faster and better. Okay, that is why you see me doing lots of stuff right now. I know the churches need to run, need proper in these days of accountability. Many churches do not even use software to maintain their finances. We are working on an equivalent of QuickBooks Pro for the church. It's called ChurchBooks Pro. We are almost done with that so that churches can get it and use it to organize their church stuff. We have a book, gospel books, where we're going to be helping pastors create books from their sermons. We call it from sermon to the bookshelf. So they don't need to do anything. We just collect the sermon from them. And from there, we do the transcription, we do the editing, we do all the graphic designs. We have them launch it on Amazon. We have them launch it on their site. All for one, what I call integrated service. Because I know that is, and I know how to do that. I've personally launched about 12 books on Amazon. Why can't I use those skills to help the kingdom message? So that is coming. We are working on gospel sites, helping pastors, particularly the small ones just coming up, where they can quickly get their church sites up and running. I'm talking about converting church sites that do the work you're supposed to do. We're working on that. All of that coming out this year. So Netvangelism 360 is my own recognition of the fact that there's a reason why I went into digital marketing. I didn't go there just to go make money. That's not my kingdom assignment. Of course, everything you do, God that provides will provide for you. That one is a done deal. But how well is what you are doing tied with your kingdom assignment? And I realized that my 7 years as a digital marketer, this is the year I begin to apply it to help the kingdom forward. As you can see, with the Cyber Embassy of Christ, now we have 23,000 followers on our Facebook page in just about a month, using the same skills that I've learned to be making money all these years. Now I'm trying to use it for an internet church. Are you hearing me now? That is my own calling, at least for this time. What about yours? How is what you are doing now tallying with your kingdom assignment? Your kingdom assignment does not have to be to go do pastor. Don't misunderstand me. I was ordained the world apostle by Dr. Miles Monroe himself to go out there into the business world and bring the influence of God, kingdom of God to bear in the business world. Not to go and pastor. He didn't ordain me to go pastor. The world apostle is what he ordained me. Now I'm realizing that. But somebody has to start this church. I'm an apostle. Apostles start churches. When they started, they hand it over, right? That's what Paul did. The church in Philippi, the church in Corinth, the church in Galatia. He started them, run them for a while, then handed them to young pastors to be running. That is my goal. And by the end of this year, I'm going to prove it to you guys. By the end of this year, God, I know, will already send me several people that are potential. I'll continue to grow them, continue to develop them. Hopefully, in the next 1 year or couple of years maximum, they will take over the Cyber Embassy of Christ while I go out there and focus on helping more and more to fulfill the assignment. You need to be able to fulfill your own. What do you think of today's service? So today's Kingdom Talk, I need to hear from you. I need you to post that comment as you are watching me right now. My prayer, it is yes, it is not a cost to start a thing and hand it over. If it is not your call, I'm not a manager. Managers manage. Okay, creators create. Catalysts create. I'm a catalyst. All my shape lends credence to that. That's the reason why I'm impatient. Because people who make things happen, they don't have time to mess around. Let's go do it now. But when you have set it up, you need patience to run it, right? That is why I get into problems when I try to maintain things that I've created, because I don't have the patience to maintain. And you need that. Are you flowing with me now? Okay. I can rock. I can learn things quickly, unlike many people. It does not mean I'm smarter than them, but that's the gift I've been given. Some people may not be creative. I'm very creative in many ways, but they're great managers. You give them something to run, they will run it perfectly. What is yours? You got to discover your shape. This is probably the most important assignment you can do for yourself. Go figure out your shape. Go figure out what God has put you on earth to do. And it doesn't have to be church. Whatever it is to advance the kingdom of heaven on earth by you walking through the principles of Christ in whatever area you have been placed. And we are not doing enough of that. Well, that is it for today. Join me tomorrow. We have a Bible study mastermind. We are going to be exploring this on why am I here. I'm going to be having 2 or 3 guests in the studio tomorrow when we discuss this. That is at 2 p.m. New York time, 8 p.m. Lagos time, 8 p.m. London time. So you can figure out whatever time zone that is for you. Join us as the Wednesday Bible study. We call it Bible Study Mastermind. We don't do your typical Bible study where we just come and just download the word to you and you have no feedback. This is a discussion. It's like a talk show program. We're going to have 2 or 3 Bible teachers in the studio with me. We're going to be discussing different top matters arising on the question of why are we here on earth. You want to join us so that you can participate. Every comment that you have there, we can put it on the screen. We can even bring you into the studio if you really have something to say to the world on that. All right, let me pull up. I want to appreciate those of you joining us this morning. Douglas from Kenya, Mr. Tayo, Pastor Tayo from Lagos, I believe. Eric Phillip from Port Harcourt, you are welcome. And several of you that are out there watching this. Again, for those of you just joining, this is Pastor O on Kingdom Talk, my daily program to share with you. Join me every morning, 11 a.m. New York time, 5 p.m. Lagos time, 5 p.m. London time. And let us talk about the kingdom. Father, I thank you for today. I give you all the glory. Father, as many as those that might have heard my voice this morning, Father, transform them with what they have heard. Father, you speak to them directly so that they can hear from you. I'm just an imperfect vessel that trying to explain the little that I know. But you are perfect and you have perfect knowledge. Father, teach them your own way so that at the end of the day, as they begin to excel in their kingdom assignment, all the glory will belong to you and your kingdom will march forward right here in this world, even before we come back home to rest. In the mighty name of Jesus. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. You want to share the link to this broadcast with as much as 10 to 20 of your friends. Get the link, broadcast it. I'm going to be uploading the video on YouTube in the next 1 hour. You may want to go to YouTube and share from there or share directly from our page. But we need you to help us share the kingdom message so that as many as are able to listen to this, as many of them with the Holy Spirit be able to minister to, for them to be able to do better, for them to be able to come in tune with the assignment so that we can begin to transform the world. Remember, our mission at the Cyber Embassy of Christ is to develop leaders for global transformation. Part of the transformation work is you sharing good talk with people so that people can watch it, people can listen to it, people can discuss it. I want there to be a debate on this. And through that, they can get transformed. Thank you so much. Those of you who have been here, I appreciate you guys. I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. This is Pastor O, and I'm out.